I knew it wasn't here. Crackling that I made for cream puffs like months ago. I'm making cream puffs today and I always end up with extra crackling. Really don't want to make it again because I don't want to have an extra thing to put in my freezer. So I found the one that I made. This one's, look, it's dated January 17th. It's been in my freezer since January. I'm also gonna be making some cookies because I had this grand idea to make pistachio dark chocolate chips. I know that's not original. I also have these toffee bits that I used to put in my banana chocolate chip cookies, and these toffee bits are like very tasty, and they're very tasty in a cookie. This is where I'm at currently with my cookies. I made a batch of Haley Catalano's cookies, dark chocolate, white chocolate, and freeze-dried strawberry cookie. It was just like such a perfect texture, so I am using that as my base cookie. I swap out the white chocolate for more dark chocolate, add pistachios, and add toffee. Brown butter is still pretty warm. Too warm, I think, to add my eggs, so I'm just gonna keep stirring it until it gets nice and fluffy and cools down. Using rye flour in place of oat flour. These are going to be my add-ins. I have some dark chocolate, my toffee bits, and pistachios. Chocolate callets are pretty big, and my pistachios are whole, so I'm just going to give them like a little rough chop. Don't touch that. Hi. Look at this guy. Oh, okay, you're gonna sit right there. Okay. Come here. So we're gonna go in the freezer. These were super easy and super fast to put together. I do believe that when you let the cookie dough rest, it does make the cookie taste better. We're gonna wrap these up and put them in the freezer and probably bake them later in the afternoon. I'm so bad at cleaning as I go. Look, I just made like one batch of cookies and this is my mess already. I haven't even shown you the worst part. Look at all this. Drawers open, cabinets open. I'm gonna be working on cream puffs next, and I really want just like a clean workstation, a fresh start. This is what I'm eating for lunch. I totally just threw this together. Last night my mother-in-law made this like mango corn salsa. I mixed it with some pasta, and I opened up a can of Trader Joe's calamari and then just threw it in here, and this is like the best pasta salad ever. I love when that happens, when you create like a really great meal unexpectedly. I should tell you a little bit about what I'm making today. Cream puffs filled with a corn pastry cream, which is funny because I'm eating corn salsa right now. I love corn. I love sweet corn, and it's corn season. I've seen a lot of recipes lately using corn, especially like Korean and Chinese bakeries use a lot of corn in their baking. I looked at a few recipes for inspiration, and a lot of them will blend up the corn kernels into the milk and then use that milk to make the pastry cream, which is pretty straightforward. I'm just a little unsure how much of that corn flavor is going to get transferred. Last year when I was baking for my pop-up bakery, I made cornflake cookies, and I actually bought a bottle of corn extract, and that really enhanced the corn flavor. Kind of tasted like this sweet snack that I had when I was a kid that my parents would get me from like a Chinese grocery store. It tasted exactly like that. It was like just a sweet corn flavor, but it was like highly artificial. And I kind of want to just use the natural flavor of the fresh corn. Hopefully it'll come through through the frosting and icing and the crackling. I think the crackling top would actually really enhance the flavor of the corn. That's the goal. Something special about this pastry. I'm gonna stack up these cream puffs, not a croquembouche. I've never made that before. I've never even attempted. A croquembouche is a tower of cream puffs, and you stick them together either using a base, like a triangular foam base, or freestanding with caramel. As impressive and as beautiful as that is, I kind of want to do something more simple. A tower of 4 or 5 corn puffs. I don't know why I keep saying corn puffs. This is inspired heavily by the Wes Anderson film, The Grand Budapest Hotel. Completely enamored by the Mendel's cream puff tower. This is actually gonna be for my birthday. I turn 32 today. I'm the only baker in the family, so of course I'm gonna bake my own birthday cake. And while I was saying all of that, I didn't take a single bite of my lunch. My corn has been steeping in my milk for about an hour now, so I'm gonna taste it and see if it has picked up any corn flavor. Hi, Joe. I tasted the milk, it tastes awesome. I also tasted this corn puree. It's so good, there's still so much flavor in there. I don't want to throw it away. I kind of want to save it and maybe make like a cake or like cornbread with it. Whoops. It tastes very similar to a vanilla pastry cream, but maybe like a little bit of hint of corn sweetness in there. Not exactly what I expected, but it's still very good. This will be my last shot before my camera dies. I took out my crackling from the freezer and I used these cookie cutters to cut out these round discs. Seem a little bit thick to me. I made 1 or 2 of each size. Actually, I was only able to make one of these big sizes in case I mess up the first one. Look at the difference in size of these eggs. These are all supposed to be large eggs. I posted a video on TikTok a few months ago about making choux pastry and how you have to beat your eggs first before adding them into the dough. Someone commented and asked, like, why do you have to do that? Why can't there just be a set recipe that you follow and you get it right? Well, this is why, because you have different size eggs. So I still stand by that you can't just throw 4 eggs in there and expect your dough to turn out the same unless you're using the exact same size egg or you're using the exact same type of flour that I'm using. Usually that's not the case, so that's why I like to beat my eggs first and then slowly stream them into the dough so that you can check the moisture and the consistency before adding more. This is how I test my dough to see if there's enough egg in there. I just take a spatula and pick up like a really big amount of it and then just let it drop kind of on its own with gravity, and if it forms like that V shape there, it's good to go. Kind of like that. I feel like I can actually use a little bit more egg. This is the part where experience really helps you out. Even now I'm kind of like doubting myself if there's enough egg in there. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more. Okay, I ended up adding all of my egg because it did still look a bit dry. Now it's nice and shiny, and when I drop a bit of the dough, it forms this long V shape instead of like a jagged one. You can definitely do this by hand, but using a stand mixer is a lot easier because this is a pretty thick dough. I got my dough in a bag, nice big round tip at the bottom so I can get nice perfect circles. This is where I'm kind of reaching uncharted territory. I've made plenty of cream puffs, like bite-sized cream puffs before, so I know how they're gonna bake, but today I'm making all different sizes. I need them to be like subsequent, I don't even know how to explain this, different sizes relative to each other so that I can stack them. I am questioning a lot of things, like how big should I pipe the biggest one? How small should I pipe the smallest one? Should I bake them on different pans? Should I bake them on different pans but at the same time? Or should I bake them on different pans in completely separate batches? Nervous, but it's okay because if it doesn't turn out right, then I'll just bake them again. No big deal. Cream puffs are so nerve-wracking because the first like 8 minutes of baking, they still look super flat and it makes you doubt everything. I was so like not confident about how much egg I put in there. Consistency of the batter was not too runny. Like when I piped them out into little rounds, they still stayed their shape. They didn't like just completely blob into like a soppy liquid mess, which I have done before and I know that it's not that bad. And they are starting to puff up, at least these smaller ones are. That like gigantic one that I piped, I'm not really sure how long it's gonna take for that to puff up. It's just gonna be a waiting game. I decided to just bake both trays at the same time. I made a tray of large ones and then I made a tray of the smaller ones, so I can just pull out the smaller ones if I need to. You're not supposed to open the door to the oven when you're baking cream puffs for the first 20 minutes because they really need that heat to hold its shape, because it's like not fully set yet. Smaller ones bake for at least 20 minutes before I can switch them, which is fine because usually when you make the smaller size cream puffs, like even the smallest one that I made, you still need to bake them for at least 20 minutes. So I'm not worried about those over baking, and actually over baking might be a good thing. I do need the cream puffs to hold their structure and to have like to be a little bit harder and have the crust set a little bit more, since I am planning to stack them. Just gonna sit here and watch these things bake up. I'm gonna do dishes to take my mind off of this. That one is so big. I just switched the trays around after 25 minutes and it seems like the shape of the cream puffs are holding, which is, that giant one looks hilarious because it's kind of flat, but it is holding up a good dome shape, and I think I didn't give it enough room on the tray to reach its full potential, so it's kind of mushing into the one next to it and to the side of the pan. It's like a Snorlax, that's what it looks like to me. We're gonna continue baking in the oven for another 15 minutes and then I'm gonna pull them out and do that little trick where you poke a hole at the bottom, put them upside down, and then stick them back into the oven for them to dry out completely. And I really think that's gonna help with the structure of the cream puffs. Yay! I'm so glad this worked. Oh my gosh, I can like take a breath now. Mixing my frosting colors. I decided to just do 3 different colors. So I have yellow, pink, and green. I feel like this is too much of a mint green, so I'm gonna add a bit of yellow to it to make it look a little bit brighter and less blue. Add like just a teeny tiny bit of purple to this so it looks more like a dusty pink. This really doesn't need much at all, so all I'm doing is taking a toothpick and just like touching a little bit of the food coloring and then touching that to the icing. That might have been too much. That's perfect actually. Green, I'm just gonna add a little bit of yellow, a little bit of purple. I don't know what that's gonna do. Seems like that didn't really do anything. Last thing I have to make is the buttercream to hold all of the cream puffs together. I'm just gonna make a basic American buttercream because it's the easiest. It's just gonna be butter with equal parts powdered sugar. I'm still kind of deciding on the color. I think blue would be really nice, but I think also a dark green would kind of tie everything together. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Have you ever whipped buttercream by hand? Don't recommend it. Why am I doing it by hand? I don't know, because I'm crazy. I just think that this is way too small of an amount to put into the stand mixer. I don't even know if the stand mixer would mix this. Times like these, I really wish I had a handheld electric mixer. Put it into the microwave for 15 seconds so the butter would melt a little bit more. And the color looks really nice, but it still is very oily right now, so I'm just trying to like, I'll report back. I've been so preoccupied with making the frosting that I forgot to give an update about how the cream puffs baked up. This one is kind of sad. This big one, I don't think it had enough time in the oven because it was just like so much bigger than the others. The other sizes baked up really nicely, nice and tall. These small ones baked up especially good. I don't think I'm gonna use this one because I need it to be really sturdy for the base. It is the biggest one. Don't think it's gonna hold up if I put some cream in it. I mean, I could still eat it. Like I could make it into a giant cream puff and fill it, but it's not gonna be part of my cream puff tower. All the other ones, I have 5 different sizes, so I can definitely do a stack of 5. I had to charge my camera. I didn't get to show you filling the cream puffs, but I waited for you. The best part, coloring them.